should be good.
Yeah, I'm looking at your Twitch. Must be a
Oh,
really
doing it
long
on
delay.
YouTube. So what
Oh,
you gonna?
YouTube.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're gonna try that for today. So let me get the link out to everybody.
Okay. At your Twitch. Must
And we just gotta throw it out in the main.
I'm still getting pinged in your Discord. Oh, there we
Hysterical.
go. Okay. Are we Livy?
Yeah. Oh, we're live. We're
Okay.
super live.
Okay. Welcome to episode 3 of the Feeding the Trolls weekly podcast. Now happening Sundays, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I am Nib, the second best choice for a DQT podcast co host. And I'm with Kage, the most angelic, gentle, sweetest, softest man you'll ever meet. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. You only say otherwise if you're neat.
Right on. That was the subject of today. Apparently, I used an archaic term, internet term, so sue me.
I didn't think it was that archaic. I
But
mean, it's in video games and other things, so
right on. Well, I mean, it's very appropriate. You know, like to get this hour today, I had to do some negotiating and trading off of responsibilities. So it's just been basically nonstop. I've got my kid's toy in the background. Um, my wife has to do continuing education for her certifications and stuff like that. So um, this is like the first chance to sit down and do anything today that I've had, only because I negotiated it. And then, except for earlier, I got my arena matches done literally on the shitter. Like I just banged them out in like 10 minutes and didn't even have to take a shit. So,
now did you auto those arena matches?
did I what?
Did you auto them?
You're cutting out. Yeah, I perfect them. They were just the bots, so they were
Okay, I
super
thought
easy.
you like tried to do auto again. I'm like, never again. Never.
Yeah, so I might as well, that is the stupidest thing I've ever done in this game is last week, I was just for some reason I was at the point where I was just like fuck it, I threw in the towel and I just autoed. I just wanted to see what the computer would do. And of course, they three turned and died for one of them, so it was 128, 116, 128. And then every other match I did this last week was like the easiest 128 I've ever done. So whatever. It was my fault. So there were three humans that did actually end up perfecting last week on a, I would say probably the easiest week so far to perfect. What do you think? It's pretty straightforward.
Oh, it was. I mean, when I made mistakes, I was fucking upset because I knew it was an easy week, and it was just. It was brutal. I couldn't believe it. Like, I did some really stupid shit. Like, I blocked myself on a hit. I cost myself 12 points, and they were all my errors, not some wacky critical, not something crazy. It was all just little missteps because I was overconfident.
Right. Right on. Right on. Well, that's better than the bullshit critical. At least you can kind of learn from it. Do better next time. So
True, if it was a critical, I would have been, like, knocked out of the top 50 because this week you lose 12 points, or, well, last week rather, and
yeah.
you're, like, fighting, like, just to
Well,
stay
I
afloat.
lost. The computer lost 12 points for me, right? I lost it. And so, but I ended up at rank 11 again for the second week in a row. So like, if we're talking about like what should be the compensation, has been kind of a hot topic for, these obvious cheaters. You look at the people who are like just outside of a rank threshold. Um, right here, I think I'm owed like at least 200 medals because if you just get rank 10, then you have 100 more medals. So
Right.
right on.
But there's no way. I mean, and people have said, well, they could do like custom rewards and other things. And I mean, I've done some homework on this company. If we're getting anything, it's generic. Everybody's getting the same reward. So it's more
Yeah.
along the lines of what do you think is appropriate? At this point, like, is it 200 per week that these guys have been cheating? Is it 100 per week? And just well, and then also what happens to these people? Like, do they flat out just get rid of them? I mean, how do they? There's a lot there. There's really a lot to unpack and what happens going forward.
Yeah, there is. I think they're just gonna go with yeah, I'm getting 500 arena medals in the chat. That's probably around what they're gonna do. Maybe 1,000, but that's pretty generous. So I do think that that's probably the most practical solution. It's not the best solution, but I mean, this is aiming. They're a little bit lazy in some things, so I don't expect much more than that. And you know what? If all they do is get rid of cheaters and give us like a couple hundred or 500 at the most medals, I will be perfectly fine. You know, whatever.
Well, speaking of lazy, I
Yes,
figured out why they didn't give us the 35, DQT package. And
Oh
essentially,
yeah.
yeah,
What is the reason?
well, essentially they didn't want to change the package at all. They only had if they gave us one free ticket, right? And in JP there were 3 ticket banners to use. So because they didn't want to modify the package, we didn't get it. That's my theory. That is the best theory I have, and I tie this back into the social media event Malcolm was running when we asked him, "Hey, could you put something in game?" And he's like, "Yeah, we can't do that." So it's like you can't really make any changes here at all, can you? And that's yeah. I, hey, it is what it is, but that's the closest thing I have because they like to make money. They would love to, sell us an extra ticket. You know, but we only had the 2 banners, and unless somebody's got a better idea, that's what I'm sticking with.
It's plausible. So yeah, if that's the case, then they did the math and thought that they wouldn't sell enough to make up for whatever they would have to pay their coder to drop a couple of lines in and modify the pack. Cool. I
That's
don't know.
sad. That's very sad. What do you think about
It could be the reason. I, there were some other theories thrown around that I thought were just so baseless. Like they wanted to save. Like Malcolm actually said this. They wanted to save face after recent things about global and like whatever. You guys don't care about saving face. Like no gotcha company
No.
does that.
No, but this makes
So
more sense. It's like, well, we realistically couldn't make this change without having to pay somebody, and we don't want to pay somebody, so here's what we're going to give you, and, have
yeah.
fun. So, sure enough, though, if they had the same setup, we would have got that pack. If we had 3 banners instead of 2, we would have absolutely have gotten that pack.
Yes. Yes, and we would have gotten like, oh, I can't afford it. So I get it. It's $100. It adds up. So
These games
or
aren't
was it
cheap.
$100 or was it like it was $80? I don't remember what the cost
I
was. It was
don't
like
I don't know
2,000.
either. I think it
Okay.
was 80, but it's one of those things where I didn't look too closely into it because I knew we weren't getting it, so it's like why like dissect it and pick it apart more than I need to. I'm more into the
Okay.
why as to well, what happened? Why didn't we get this exactly? And it's just they really can't make too many changes. And the main change they're going to make to this game is banning these APK users. That's like our going to be our standout thing. Is hey, we're getting rid of a bunch of cheaters because you guys noticed them, and I'm sure they're on the JP version too. I mean, I'm sure they're there. It's just most people don't look that closely, probably.
Yeah, totally. Well, Pack Demon, you're asking what would you do if they didn't have the disadvantage of being lazy, you could maybe go back and just bump everybody's rank up, and then but that's pretty darn complicated. That's very involved. They probably would have had to set that up beforehand to have some kind of thing that they can retroactively use, which I very much doubt. So yeah, just practically speaking, if it was 500 medals for just everybody who plays the game, that would be perfectly fine. So.
See, I was highballing. I was trying for 2,000, but I'm greedy because I'm like, I don't think they're going to fix this until at least the end of June, maybe a little bit further. So I'm kind of like retroactively adding in additional medals.
2,000. Yeah, that's a bit much.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe just a few hundred medals, and then also some stamina herbs or some gems or maybe some orbs. Oh my God, orbs. So
Oh, that'd be fucking nice. I mean, nobody's gonna take, not take that, but that would
right,
make people forget about everything. Well, they gave us a $30 orb to make us shut up.
right.
Okay, I'll take it. You buy my
Yeah,
silence. Yeah.
everyone would be happy with that. That would be great. Um, anyway, so yeah, speaking of orbs, so why don't we just do that right now? So we've got let me go into my list of S rank units. We're gonna do what is worthy of an orb, and then we'll just do it like this. I will say we'll do it down the list of what's in global right now, and I will do S5 or S6, and then you'll do S5 or S6. Or do we want to have it so where we have like 20 orbs to work with, and then we just divvy them out? I don't know. That's pretty complicated.
That is
What do you
kind of
think?
complicated. I would say it's one of those
Let's
things
just do a
where
lightning round.
lightning round, and at the very end, maybe like our top 5 or top 6 units that we would absolutely
Uh-oh, we
S6.
lost Kage. Your
I
mic
oh,
sucks today, bro.
God damn it! Oh, you can hear me now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I would say maybe we do at the very end like our top 5 or top 6 units that we would want to absolutely S6 at the very end. Like if you had to it came down to what orbs you needed, that would be your go-to team.
Sure. Okay, let's do that. So let's base it on like what orbs you can reasonably have right now in global versus the S units that are available in global, and let's just go boom, 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 right? So in alphabetical order, Elena, I'm gonna say S4.
I'd say S4. It's a hero unit. I don't like him.
Archdemon, I'm gonna say S4. That's a tough
Same.
one.
Oh, I mean, if you don't have Baramos, I'd say maybe higher. But if you do have Baramos, I'd keep him at 4.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Good point. So Baramos. Um, Depends. I'm gonna say probably 4, but again, you're gonna want something with a lot of bang. So 4 for me.
Well, I'm gonna have to say 6 because that's the choice I went with, and it worked out.
Yeah, yeah. I would say. I mean, if you have like he's up there on the list of like the maybes. Where if you have extra, I would put him. Only if you have awakenings though.
Right,
So a
because if
lot
he
of it
was a
depends on
base
that.
unit, I'd say leave him at 4, and just
Yeah.
have him come along if you need the coverage. But if you have him maxed out, I'd say 5 for most people. Like if you're like Baramos Awaken 3, I'd say go 5. But if higher, I'd say 6.
Yes. Okay. So Baramos zero awaken. I'm gonna say S4, and then but you should still pump up his compressed boom. All right, because you'll still use that as one of the best boom spells for some content. So anyway, I let's my fault, but let's keep the conjecture. Let's do lightning round. So
Okay.
Dragon Lord, I'm gonna say S4.
Yes, 4.
But after, sorry, after skill trees, S6.
Yeah. Skill Blossom 5 hit
Yeah.
line. Yeah. S6.
Yep. Dragon Lord True Form S6, no doubt.
S6 even if Awaken 1.
Yeah. Even if zero, I think. Um, Draguar, S5.
I'd say 4 just because we've got casters who can do his job.
Mm. Yep, he's been awesome for me, but I can understand, like, universally speaking, because I mean, max awakened, so that makes a huge difference. But for that whoosh physical, I guess it kind of depends. Do you have Sly and Heart? So you want one of them to be at least S5, if not S6. So Dread Dragon S4.
S3. I
Okay,
wouldn't even bother.
don't even spend
Don't
irises.
even. It's an awful unit.
Emperor Slime, I'm gonna say S5. Good choice.
I could
S5.
say S5, or if you have a maxed S6, because he is useful in the new content. He's carried me.
Yeah, yeah. It's kind of like amazing the difference between S4 and S5. Just that way I have it. His healing power and his MP pool is crazy. It's just like everyone should consider doing that, at least in S5. So.
Easily.
Great Dragon, S4.
Yeah, S4. Even with skill blossoming, he's yeah.
Yep. Great Troll, S4. He's in a maybe.
Yeah, I would say S4. I mean, he's got some HP, he's got some usability, but it was for the peak, and the peak's past now. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see if he has a good skill. But I mean, he's still got like some of the highest HP in the game. I think maybe the highest besides
Queen Slime.
like Nimzo and Queen. Yeah, I think Queen Slime might be higher. No, he's higher than Queen Slime. He's certainly higher than anything in global now, but I think the tree dragon is higher in Japan.
Hmm.
So that is very tanky, so that can be useful, but we'll see. Halbersaurus S6, no doubt about it.
Oh, easily because you can get him max awakened without spending a dollar. No
Yeah,
brainer.
yeah, I would say that is the number one S6, like by a long shot. So Helglad S4, he does his job at S4.
Yeah, you don't need to really. In fact, you hurt yourself by upping him because if you have to use him for a poison strat, Orochi, he crits. You've got the
Yeah,
skill up, you've got him up. You could potentially screw yourself on that one. It's not worth it.
yeah, yeah. You want him to do less damage.
It's
It's
a very
crazy.
weird concept.
Hybrid. I'm gonna say S4, but he's borderline. 4 movement plus A rank breath. That's pretty nice. What do you think?
I'd say if you got a spare orb this week, he's worth going S5 for the arena, but otherwise, I'd say 4.
Yep. Killer Machine S6 if awakened, S4 if not.
Yeah, I mean, even as S5, he's not a bad unit with at least one awakening. I mean, he's one of those units I kind of wish I had maxed out at some point, but you know.
Yep. So people underestimate him a little bit because he's frizz resistant, and that's pretty big. So anyway, King Shi Slime S4 for sure. He can do his job at S4.
Yeah, same. I don't see any use, even if he's max awakened. It's just not worth it.
Yep. Kirill S4 if you don't have, or S4 if you do have Emperor Slime trained up pretty well. If you don't have Emperor Slime for some reason, then S5.
Yeah, I mean, he's a good support healer. I mean, he can do the auto heal, so even at S4, he could still do his job pretty well. I don't know what his pool looks like beyond that, but I'd say he could do his
Yeah.
job even at S4.
It's kind of nice to have him around. He's got a ton more HP than Emperor Slime, obviously. Well, everything does. He's also frizz and bang resistant, so that's a lot of units that he's resistant to. So, kind of a sleeper unit there. Metal Dragon S4.
Yeah, S4, even with that missile passive and skill blossom, we don't have enough info right now to even know if it's worth it.
Yeah, it. I think it just sounds cool in concept, but I don't know. I wish the chances of it procking were higher. So, Nightclubber, probably S5. I'm going to say he's a sleeper unit.
You know, I would probably do S6 on him if you wanted to really screw some people in arena, but otherwise leave him at 5.
If there was such a thing as arena defense, and then you got actually points taken away or given to you based on your defense's performance, Clubber would be awesome on defense because he can just, he can like maybe whip out that random crit, So
And just finish off a random unit, and it's just like, good night. He's probably the most avoided unit besides like a back row Devil Moth or a back row
right,
Emperor Slime.
yeah, or Elaine. Elena's another one that's avoided because she can get that random crit and just fuck you over. So, Prison Peacock 4. S4.
Yeah, I just never, never really got into him. Yeah, 4.
And Sorrow the Manslayer. I obviously am going to say S6. Duh.
I have him 6, and I think I only have one extra copy of him. So yeah, it's a good
Yeah,
unit.
even if he's 0, I think so. A Queen Slime 4, but I think she's probably more than capable of doing a great job at S4.
I'd say S4 if you had her max awakened. I would probably go 6 because her HP pool is crazy. Her HP pool is crazy. Her ability to pull in is really good, but I don't know many people who actually got her there. So
I
4.
think Platt did, probably. So, Royal Reptile S6 for sure.
Oh yeah, he's a great Zoro count or not Zoro, great Zoma counter.
So
Awesome
McConnell.
Zoma
Yep.
counter if you can get him to 6.
Yep, a lot of things that he counters. Plus, he's got as a dragon, he's got a lot of like equipment and leadership bonuses that are available to him right now. Um, because the Dragon Shield, I think it's one of the best family armors that are available. So either you have it on him or you have it on Boreal Dragon. So Royal Reptile, great low budget unit. So Lionheart, again, S5 or S6, depending on whether or not you have Dragor leveled up.
Right, because if you don't have Dragwar, then he's essential. If you do have Dragwar, then it's all comes down to who's more awakened at that point
Yep,
for
exactly.
S5 or 6.
Yep, Squidzilla. I'm gonna say S. 4 only because I know that there's units with his leadership ability that are coming down the pike that are much better than him in every other way.
Yeah, I'd say 4. I mean, he's just been more that unit you bring along to kill metal slimes. That's all I've ever really gotten a good use out of him. Because you've got Sorrow, you've got Archdemon, you've got Baramos as major bang users, so you don't really need him.
Yeah. Yes, well, I mean, his skill blossom, I think, is one of the strongest because I think he gets like +2 movement for being full HP, and then something like to do with his main bang attack. It's like upgraded, so and we've seen him do 5,000 damage crits to Prism Peacock X, so he's cool, but I think right now not really.
Yeah.
White King, White King S6,
Oh,
easy.
6 all day. He's very easy,
Yep.
future-proof unit. You'll probably have him. I mean, I think a year from now, people will still be using him as a leader at some point, unless they really do something to, cut him down.
Yep. And I think that if you're gonna S6 something and you're limited on orbs, your S rank mages. I think need it the most. Zoma, obviously, we are gonna S6 Zoma at any awakening. So
Yeah, doesn't matter. I mean, he's got typeless attack. You can fit him anywhere. Even when I did my Pizarro Peak video, it's like, hey, if you've finished hard mode, just bring him into every fight. Easy 700 damage.
yes. Okie dokie. Is that all we want to do on orb worthiness, or was there one more part of that?
Realistically, I think from how we kind of talked about each unit too, we kind of took the next segment, just chopped it down at that point because we broke
Yeah.
apart what their uses are, when we would use them, and when we would just kind of look them over. But yeah,
Yeah, totally. Future units, maybe. I don't know. That's a good topic for another day.
another day, another day.
Cool. Well, if you disagree, leave it in the chat in the comments, please. I'm sure somebody will because I'm me. Haha. Anyway.
Sky's
But
blue. If Nib says it's blue, it's green.
right on. There should be more orbs and gold in the game. There should be less. Anyway.
Uh,
How are you doing for gold, by the way?
Down to like 30k after I've been plussing up a ton of skills. I'm almost to like 7,000 skill attempts now, so it's just
Holy shit. So you're catching up. I'm actually back up to 70k because I'm done scaling up and I farmed the shit out of this event like everyone should have.
because I needed to make sure that I make my Orochi runs as painless as possible. So I got King Bubbles Venom up to 9. I got Selfless up to 8 for Scorpion. I plus 10 what I needed to, and then also I started working on the battle roads, and that's costly. Because
Oh yeah.
yeah,
That battle road is a killer, but once you're done with it, you're done with it forever. So
right, and then if they ever add on to the battle roads at that point, it's, well, you've already plus 10 to units. You're good.
yep, totally. You don't even need to plus 10 most of that stuff actually. Like maybe plus 8 because the last two levels are killer.
I think
So
the only stage where I was like happy I accidentally plus 10 something was the Imp Road, like for the Peacock
mm.
fight. I brute forced it. I mean, you're not supposed to brute force that fight, but I did, and it's an awful fight. It's awful.
Yeah. Yeah, that one was real son of a bitch. And then the other one that was hard was Dancing Flame because you had to get good RNG on your debuffs. So I trained
Oh
that
yeah, that fight
time.
could have went either way. I mean, you would know by turn 3 if you were done with the fight and had to restart or
Yeah,
not. So yeah.
totally. Okay, well, we're getting clamoring about when are we going to roast Kaga. So that was kind of one of the features for today. Let's get into it. So you have his images,
Let me get
right?
everything
So
pulled up. We'll take a look.
yeah, I've got him too, but I'll just go off of what you put on the screen.
Let's get everything
So
posted up
Kaga
here.
is our illustrious mod on the main Discord. He is English, therefore he is smarter than everybody, and cool guy. Let's see. There's so much of a lag, so
All right, let me get a new
I don't
window
know if
open so
something's
we
up.
can go ahead and put up his window.
Well, while you're doing that, so I'm looking at his home screen. We've got rank 22, very good. Isn't it higher that you can get 24 right
You can
now,
get
can't you?
24 right now, yeah.
Okay. Kaga, how much of a spender are you, by the way? Just leave that in the chat if you could. That'll change a lot of things. So we've got 67 gold. So 6,000 gems. So yeah, I mean, you took the route of either not saving up gems or you are a spender and you're just, that's like what a spender would have left, right? Not really much to say about that. Rank 22, obviously you still have some battle roads to finish, so really not much to say about that either. You got okay, we're looking at the home screen. So yeah, nothing super remarkable. Um, I usually gun for the guaranteed. So Kaga, would you describe yourself as a like a small dolphin or like a large minnow? What are we talking? Like 50 bucks a month, 100 bucks a month, 20 bucks a month or more? So looking at his rank up stuff, 4 orbs. Oh my God. Who has 4 orbs nowadays?
Jesus
Well done.
Christ. Like, hey, you're saved. I don't know what you're saving for, but I mean, well, if something comes along you want, you can instantly S6 it, so I'll give you that. You can do 2 new
Yeah,
units.
that is a good way to go. I like having like a constant minimum, of like right now I'm only at 1 orb, because I bought Halberd Source and got him to S6 right away, and then I S6'd Sorrow right away. And then I also spent one on Emperor Slime to get him up. So um, only at 1 right now, but I'm not too worried about it. But 4 is maybe a little higher than I would go for like having a comfortable like minimum, maybe like 2 or 3, and not go below that just in case. So
Yeah, I was holding on to 2 until Pizarro came out. I had spaced out. I had 4, just like Kaga, but Halbert Soares came out. 2 went to him. Pizarro came out. 2 went to him. Now I'm down to. I'm at 0 again. But I like
yeah.
evenly planned that out. I am gonna say though, I'm kind of curious why he has all these extra materials from hard mode. Like, why aren't you ranking up some other units and getting some levels on these guys? What's going on here, Kaga?
Well, I am guessing because of gold. We haven't looked at his ranks yet. Um,
We'll see.
oh, you got a lot of A's that uh, aren't even ranked up at all, but you're F through. Okay, so we're still missing a lot of rank 6 in your lower ranks, so probably just restricted by gold. He's probably saying that in the chat.
Yeah, because I see here there's only a couple of A6s he has.
Hey, Shane's is here. Welcome, young Skywalker. Let's see. Yeah, it's definitely gold is his bottleneck. So you spend 60 a month. That's cool. So I would say average dolphin there. Um, so let's look at his what's the next image here? Books. So yeah, pretty good job on the books. It looks like you took the event seriously. Yep, you're pretty much right on the money as far as the distribution of books that, most folks would recommend. Having the most in the gray books, whatever they're called, the non-specific books. You got 296 there. That's great. That's probably 2 plus 10 A rank skills. You could get very unlucky, and that wouldn't be 2, but that's on average 2. So, um, we've got Giuliante coming up, so 117 probably isn't enough for her. But, if you don't really care about Giuliante, that's fine. Yeah, generally speaking, you're sitting pretty good for books. You've got a lot of frizz. That's great because we will have, uh, well, KM2, I guess, is the next really big A rank frizz skill. So,
Right, and
um,
he's sadly though he's in a bad situation because he has no gold, so it's not like he can make use of
yeah.
any of these bugs. It's like a lose lose.
So, hey, Kaga, if I would suggest something, once this campaign ends, try and, well, what is he for awakenings on his lower level
Let's
units?
see.
I was gonna say farm story, any story level that has 7 gold, um, as the, 7 gold per stamina, is what I'm trying to say. So just go to Meow's list, and then try and double up on getting awakenings in addition to just farming gold, because Um, Pretty low stamina commitment there, and that's kind of how I got a lot of gold in the early game. What do you think he should do next with his stamina? I think
Just
he's sitting
from
pretty good
just
for
from what I'm
books.
seeing, I mean, he doesn't have a lot of lower tiered units awakened at all, so he's got a lot he can do. And also, it seems like just from skimming through, he doesn't have a lot of weapons equipped to his units too, just from peeking around.
Hmm. Right.
Like I'm just looking at the F stuff now. He's got Draki to 1. Like Kaga, do you even play this game? Like your blue slime isn't even awakening 1. That's one. If I can give any advice to newer players who are just looking to pad CP or even making something that's just useless a little bit better from story, get an extra unit. Get like it's just one duplicate. And a lot of these guys on the F tier, E tier, they're ridiculously easy to get a drop. It's like 30%, 40% for them. So I mean, you just go in
Right.
and you get slime instantly goes up one awakening level, or you know, and you're gonna like that later because of the skill blossoming. Because even slime, even blue little F rank slime is gonna have his own little thing, and you don't want to be having to farm all these units later on trying to play catch up because as I've seen in these games, you don't catch up. It's just like anybody saying, "Hey, don't do Orochi now." Well, do you really want to be juggling Orochi 3 months from now while everything else is going on? No, you don't. You want to get as much of it done as possible. Even I did the math in my head. I need to clear 35 more level 10 stages to be completely done with Orochi. Well, that's
Yeah.
4 weeks, so I
Yeah.
want that out of the way as quickly and painlessly as possible, and that's even on a high tier level.
So would you still say that? Because I've got it figured out. I'm farming 10. It's just a long time consuming thing. But are you consistently farming 10 now too?
So yeah, I did a live stream earlier, and I sped run 10 of them. I cleared all 10, level 10 in an hour and a half with no fails, even with some
Yeah.
errors. So I used kind of your build setup, Foxy's and Night Pains, and I condensed them all together to make like I want to say almost a foolproof strategy. Because again, I haven't failed yet, so we'll see next week if I keep the streak up. But you know,
So is it Hellglad, King Bubble Slime, Armor Scorpion, Emperor Slime, and Baramos, right?
yes, that's my setup.
Yep.
That's been
Same
working.
here. I just have Zoba instead of Baramos. They both do the same thing in that setup. Just kill the dragons and not die. And
Right, kill the dragons, take the breath, because there's no RNG on the breath. He can't critical you with it. I've never seen it
uh
happen.
Oh, you
So,
have him taking the breath, actually. Okay, I
yeah.
have Hell Gladiator doing that, and then after turn one, it's always Armor Scorpion
Well,
doing
yeah,
it.
yeah. Armored Scorpion takes it after turn 1, but there's no RNG involved at that point. He can
Right,
never crit. So you don't see once you get through the RNG with the dragons at the start, you don't see any until turn 8, which is great.
right.
So it's not as crazy as people make it seem to be. And in fact, I was getting criticals more than I don't think I got criticaled once on the enemy end. Emperor criticaled, my Baramos criticaled, and I even got the sword. So I was like, hey, this is a win.
You got the sword?
Yeah, I got the sword.
Oh, you fucking
Yeah.
asshole! Just from one of your drops today.
Yeah, it was like on like drop number 4 or 5. I'm like, this is ridiculous. I mean, this can't
Got
be
it.
as bad as people say it is. I mean, the only thing that's bad is you can only do it 10 times a week. So maybe it's higher than 3%. Who the fuck knows?
I hate you. I've
Good.
only done one of my 10 this week, so we'll see. Um, it's a good activity to do at the gym. I just pop on the stair climber and do these. I kind of don't like this event, gotta say. I'm with Chase on it. I'm not with Chase on don't do it. That's retarded. You should do it. If you are, I mean, you just make the choice. If you are like confident that you will be wasting a bunch of stamina because you have no idea how to clear the stages, and you don't really value getting the sword or Orochi that much, fine, don't do it. But be an adult, make your own decision. Don't listen to streamers. Um, Obvious. So would you say, Kage, if you didn't have 10 on farm, would you still recommend just, grinding it out right now?
I would do 8. If you can't do 10, I would just do 8, hope for the sword, get your one Orochi, and get the fuck out at that point. Because if you can't do 10, you're going to be doing this for a very long time. Again, I just said, hey, I still need to clear 35 more of these. With assuming no fails, that's 700 stam to max that unit out. And I'm maxing it out because I'm a completionist. I like, But to have somebody tell him, well, okay, well, yeah, you just max out Orochi on stage 8. I don't even know the math on that. It's definitely more than 35. I mean, it's
Yeah.
probably more than 70 attempts, and then there's failures and everything. So you'd be spending more stamina than trying to max out Musafor or the Ethereal Serpent. That's a bad proposition. Just get your one unit. When you get the sword, you stop at that point. That's the gist of
That's
it.
the best advice. I mean, we didn't have to make a 20-minute video for that. That was Kage's 30-second pitch.
Yeah.
To recap, I mean, that's do the level that you can do. Don't waste stamina trying to do the levels you can't do. Get Orochi once and wait until stamina refund and then grind it out. That's perfect. Don't need to make a 20-minute video.
No, no, it's very, very simple, very cut and
So,
dry. I'm a lousy content creator because I should be spacing this out. And like, no, no, we just went over it. We killed it.
how do you space that out for as long? I don't know.
I don't
I
know.
guess that's why I'm not making YouTube videos yet. Anyway, so we got Kaga. Are we still? Let's roast him some more. I haven't really roasted him. His account looks pretty good, except for yeah, you should get your Battle Road monsters up. That's a really easy thing to do. But then again, you have no gold, so it's kind
He's
of
in
up
a
to
really
you.
bad situation with that. He's got all those bugs, but there's no balance.
Yeah, so Kaga, I would say since we know that a unit that is, not real. She's not really a do or die unit. That said, I'm sorry, Chase. I'm not trying to just shit on you all the time. Okay, I don't have any beef with you, Chase, but I don't like it when you make absolute recommendations. And I know that's kind of what gets you views, and that's what people want. That's what Perp and Law told me is people just want the headline. And I'm like, all right, but also let's try and be accurate and let's try and be open-minded. Delzor has actually said that he still uses Giuliante to this day for certain content, even if it's just like the one-off PvEX content. Um, don't sleep on Giuliante. Having a unit that's extremely fast. So not only is her agility very high, but she also has a buff that makes her it even higher. So she's almost always going first. Plus the area of effect attack up buff. I think just those two by itself it's a worth a pull. So also she's like really the first waifu unit, so that's worth a pull if you catch my drift.
So I
So
thought he was joking
yeah.
on that. Like people told me, I don't watch his stuff. I mean, I really don't. But like he really said not to pull on that unit.
Um okay. Did I interpret it like that? No, because I kind of know what Chase means, but I also know how that comes across. And when people are just looking for the headline, they're gonna say, "Okay, well then I'm not gonna pull on Giuliante at all. Giuliante sucks," and that is wrong. Yes, it is correct that she's not Sorrow. She's not a unit like that you should go balls out, dick first into the wall and chase that unit, right? No, she's not that. So Jace is correct in that. But does she suck? Does she have no use? Fuck no. She is a lot of uses, actually. You have other units that have the AoE buff. You have Seraphy. We don't know when we're getting Seraphy. We're getting Giuliante in like one day, right? So,
Hopefully, we,
um,
we still don't know
oh yeah,
when
we
that
don't know
notice.
yet.
Yeah, we
So,
don't know yet. We're hoping. I'm keeping an eye on the notices, but I will say this real quick, just to shit on Kaga. Kaga, why the fuck isn't your Emperor Slime Max Awakened? He's Max Awakened. Why isn't he S6? What's going on here? Why are you
oh
doing this?
wow, I didn't see that.
Yeah, I caught that. I'm like, wait a second. Let me go back on this. And he got 4 orbs, so don't tell me you don't have the orbs.
I'm gonna say that's okay to keep him at 5 because I think that he's got a max awaken plus hopefully you got him at plus 10 skills too. S5 plus 10 skills, max awaken Emperor Slime is gonna be totally able to do every healing job in the game except for the ones that's only Seraphy can do. So I'm gonna say it's okay to keep him S5 and keep that orb reserve for later.
I'm gonna tell him to go for it, and hopefully to re-roll his staff to all healing plus, and don't make my mistake and go for more wisdom, because
Right.
you could probably get Emperor Slime with plus 10 heal to almost 700. Like mine's 661.
Oh yeah.
He could probably get it to 700 with the max, and I mean he's keeping Scorpion alive with no debuff on Orochi 10. That's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, actually, mine can do that too. I just did a run. No blunts landed, at all. But the first poison landed, so I guess that helped. And then, all I need to do is keep buffing Scorpion, and then S5, Emperor Slime kept him alive the whole time. So, um, yeah. Um, I would say use an orb on one or maybe two of the following units: Draguar, no, not Draguar, Royal Reptile, Dragon Lord True Form, or a Killing Machine. You just use an orb on one of those three guys. That's what I would do. There's really no harm in that right now.
Yeah, I'd
But you
agree
don't
with
have the
that.
gold for it.
But he doesn't. Yeah, he can't even afford.
Yeah.
That's a
I
bad
would say
position to be.
do Royal Reptile, because you're probably not going to be able to get True Form or Killing Machine more awakens, but eventually your Royal Reptile will get Max Awaken probably. And then, like I said, he's got this is not mentioned too much, but he's got really good Dragon Family bonuses. He can sit next to Halberd Saurus for 20% more damage. He can get those awesome family gears. The sword and the shield are both really good for dragons. Plus, he's frizz resistant. He's just awesome. So I would just orb up Royal Reptile right now. And I would actually, I don't know why Boreal Dragon is only at a A5. Probably because you only have no awakening on him. So yeah, A5 Hellion. What the fuck? A6 him now.
Yeah, it's like if
Hell-
you don't have Burrow to A6, why why not do for Hellion?
Kaga, that's the first thing you should spend gold on is A6 Hellion immediately. Do it, and then use your scrolls to get him up. Because you got that frizz up bonus this week in Arena, so do it. Other than that, I have no more roasting to do for Kaga. What about yourself,
Let me see.
Kage?
I'm skimming through see if I catch anything. I didn't even notice the Hellion. That was a good catch. What the hell is he doing with his life?
That's the only glaring thing. Everything else is a little bit picky, I think.
Yeah, I mean, just make sure you put all your gear onto units as well. I mean,
Yeah.
I would do that just for the CP. Fuck it. You were mentioning earlier about where your ranking was in the CP to me. It's like, well, you could definitely shoot up even further just equipping everything to something. Like you're losing probably about 3,000 CP right now just from everything that's unequipped.
Right. Do people care about that anymore? Like, I've been sitting at either rank 2 or rank 3 for a few weeks now, and like no one cares.
I
I don't even
think
care
ever
that much.
since Arena came out, it's kind of taken a back seat.
Yeah.
I think the only people who are still going are like those who are into like the family rankings, like Beast rank. I think Umaro's still going hard on that. I
Yeah,
think
he'll own that
Knights,
forever.
yeah, he'll own that forever. Somehow I ended up being like the dragon guy after Orochi came out. I don't know how the fuck that happened. Oh wait, I do because I have Dread Dragon at like 2.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
that's what it is. I'm like, wait, how did I? Oh yeah, that time I pulled on Dread Dragon excessively. Fuck.
It could be because wasn't there another guy that was going balls out on family on Dragon Family? Maybe he doesn't have a Rochi yet.
Oh, that's right. Grand Baron
Yeah.
or whatever his name was. He like
Yeah.
disappeared.
Oh, okay. Cool. And I stopped caring about inorganic, so I know I'm the golems for some reason. So, but anyway, so any last thoughts about Kaga?
I would say that he just needs to keep working on his stuff. I mean, he actually it was probably a lot worse before this video, but we gave him like an extra couple of days to work, so he really put the
Yeah,
build.
he really pushed forward a lot. So, yeah, I think hitting up those. So do your research first before you spend your stamina. Take a little bit of time. Look at what you can do for the 7 gold per stamina story stages. I don't know if the stages, the most recent stages, are that efficient gold wise because there's 10 stamina each. So you probably want to look at your lower level monsters that aren't awakened at all, and if there's any of them that have that 7 gold per stamina, just go balls out on that stage because you need gold badly. And then once you can, what is it, 6,400 gold to get Hellion to S6, something like that. That should be your first purchase. So
Yeah, and it would. I mean, sooner you get it done, the better. Because again, this week, Frizz week, even if you do all your Orochis if you have to too. Because again, if you land the sword, you can put that onto True Lord Dragon form. You could put that onto High Bird. That's a really good sword to have. So
yep,
yeah,
yep. Cool. Thank you, Kaga. We're gonna do Game Vision next week. So Is that his actual name? Yeah, Game Visions.
Yeah, he calls himself Swagger or something too, but
Swag.
he's a
Okay.
weird guy.
Game Visions. I like he's a fan of me, so I'm a fan of him. He's like one of the few people that hasn't like argued with me for no reason. So
He would chain himself to the Capitol building for me, that guy.
let's see. Yeah, it's just Game Visions. Okay.
Yeah,
So all right, cool. Kaga, yeah, you're doing okay. You're doing okay.
better
Better
than
than
Lucas.
Lucas. Ah, Lucas, I hope you're here. So, and then, oh, by the way, a little update on Lucas. He still hasn't done anything we suggested him. If
Why
I'm
would
wrong,
he?
if I'm wrong, let me know, Lucas. But so it just looks like he just didn't, because he didn't spend any gems. It's like, motherfucker, you have all those gems. You don't need every single one of those, but you do need books right now. So spend your gems, dummy.
It is hard
I guess
finding
we're
that balance, though. It's very
ro
hard.
so I guess we didn't really roast Kaga, just roasted Lucas twice in a row.
Fair enough. I mean, again, Kaga, the only. It's not really much there. He did a really good job. I mean, he could just work
Yeah.
on some awakenings to get some gold, farm more story missions, and just build up the account that way.
Yeah, mad props, Kaga, for focusing on the books. Even though you have no gold, just focus on those books because you'll know the gold will come later. A little bit of delayed gratification there, so I respect that. All right, so what we want to do is talk about guilds. Do we want to talk about guilds?
I mean, we could. I mean, realistically, I had some of that insider information from back in the day that I just kind of, you know, held on to. Because again, I mean, I told people way back, like, if you had guilds, you'd have my wife playing this game. My wife would fucking play this game because she
Yeah,
plays it for the community. That's the type of player she is. She doesn't matter what it's for. I mean, as she has a chat and game to play with, and if she, because you'll notice if you're on the Discord with us, she'll be active sometimes. She'll shoot the shit with you guys. She likes doing that, and if we have a game where she can play that game and talk to people too, even on voice, she'll talk to you.
right. Yeah, I think that goes for a lot of people. Um, I don't, is it just people's wives that would do? I think there's tons of people from all stripes that would really like to have that. Even if there's no chat, I don't even think there's really a need for an in-game chat. That would be too overwrought. Just to have some kind of sense of like I'm part of this club, and it doesn't have to be anything like
Right, because even if you
exclusive.
don't
It's
have the
just
chat, they could just usually what they'll do is like a bulletin board, like, hey, we've got this little place outside of the game. You can
yeah,
come here and talk. So that would be great. And I feel like whenever there are guilds in a game, you keep people around longer that would have quit like months ago because there's some
yeah,
extra investment into that group, into wanting to see that group do well. And even times where, hey, if you're like running this group and you've like lost interest in the game, but it's like, well, I need to make sure that everybody's taken care of, you'll stick it out for a year or two more.
right.
It's very weird.
Yes, totally, totally. Yeah, if it won't, if you're already playing, it'll make you play longer. That's true. So how would they be implemented? Do you want to go first? Some
Yeah.
like what features? Because we can't just add guilds to the game as it is now. There's no reason for them to exist.
Well, I would say things like maybe Pizarro's Peak, where you have the entire guild's roster, and they have to like come together. Everybody, you do like 5-man teams for each mission. Like you have a guild of 25, and you've got 5 people who are assigned to the first fight, 5 people to the second, third, fourth, and then when those unlock to the fifth, and everybody brings one unit into it and do it that way, and they get like some massive guild reward. Like there's just tons of like things you could do just from what we know with the game systems to implement that way. And maybe it could be an extra ore because it's a huge achievement to have 25 people manage to beat that with what units they have on hand. Now, of course, there'd be some limitations. You couldn't all use the same unit to go in there. You can have 5 Zomas. It all would have to be
Everyone
different.
would have a Soma.
Everyone would have a Zoma. It'd be like 5 Zomas go in, run in there, and just side cannon everything, unless it's Bizarro, and then they'd all have like five, halberd sources or some shit. It'd be a real cheese fest. But yeah, no, I mean, I would do something to that extent, or even just something where you can have like, you do some extra story missions, and you can have like your guildie tag along, and you get guild points for doing that, and you have like a guild shop, because we have shops for everything else. We have a shop for Orochi. We'll have shops for other events down the road. You could add another one in there for extra items or extra gold or things of that nature, and it's very very simple to add on the overlay.
Right.
What do you think?
Well, just going off of experience, in Raid Shadow Legends, they had a cool but very flawed guild system. So there was this thing called a raid boss, and the game really pushes you to join any guild as soon as possible because that's the only way that you can fight this raid boss. And it doles out rewards based on if you reach a damage threshold. So it's just based on your ability to. Of course, the boss will hit you back, and so it's a combination of just like min-max efficiency. How long can you last against this boss? Do as much damage as possible to it. Um, that said, the flaw in the beginning was that the boss can die, and so if you have a guild with a bunch of ballers who just kill it right, right at reset, then everybody else gets deprived of the opportunity to hit the loot pinata that it basically is. And the loot from it is unique and it's very good. If you are hitting, depending on the strength of your guild, you have different raid bosses. Like you can hit like I don't even remember the rankings now, but it's like if it's like bronze, silver, gold, platinum, or whatever. If you hit the highest rank one and then do the most damage to it, that's the absolute highest loot that you can get. They changed it a couple years ago, I think, so that it can't die. But then there's still a problem because the boss changes its attack pattern halfway through. And so there's so many strategies that are very specific about how you're supposed to beat this boss that they only work for like the first half of it. And so the second half of it, if you still are a little bit slower than other raid members or guild members, then you're kind of SOL. So, but the concept of a shared raid boss is awesome, because you don't have to do this whole like dungeon. It's just literally click, hit a boss, boom, and you're done. It's once a day. And oh God, yeah, yeah. And just have like a rotating set of bosses. Let's say it doesn't even have to be the same kind of a level. It can be like a super giant boss one day. Maybe it can be based on the day of the week. Mondays is a giant boss. Tuesdays is a I don't know, like just a regular PvEX like Prison Peacock. Um, Maybe Thursday is like Pyramid where you have to get to a certain spot, stuff like that. So just shared guild quests that literally everybody can do every day. So therefore you're not competing with each other for the loot. So that's one aspect. What do you think of that?
Yeah,
Having a
I've seen
shared
that
loot pinata.
before, and it generally I've played games where I'd be in a guild, especially starting out as a new player. I'd have to get there at the exact time it opened up to even get a chance to get hits in on a boss because I would know if I waited 5 minutes to be dead, I wouldn't get anything. Or I'd have to do the higher tier boss because in those games now they unlock a higher level, and that boss would just obliterate me. Like it'd be
Yeah.
there'd be no way my units could stand up to it. So making it to where people get rewards, everybody gets to do the fight, everybody gets to chip in, and maybe you know everybody who does the fight, it goes towards some sort of points completion, and then those points unlock
Yeah.
items in a shop or perks for the guild. There's a lot of ways they can go with it. It's just I'm not sure what aiming's capability is and everything in regards to what they can do for global and what they want to do for the JP version. It's very hard.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, we don't know what if they have any framework at all for our player-to-player interactions. So we know that what they do with Arena is they just take the player's team and turn that into an AI team. So it's not really a player-to-player interaction. So, it could be too much for the scope of this game, which sucks. But it is what it is. I mean, there is a shared challenge server-wide, so. Maybe the framework is there. I have no idea.
I think it
Um,
is. I mean, I've looked at some of their portfolio. They've had games like Caravan Story that are like kind of major MMOs, not super up there, but they know how to make games where they can do that framework. So it's not like this is going to be a completely alien thing to them. It's just is this on their backboard somewhere where it's like okay down the road, kind of like skill blossoming. Nobody thought. I mean, who could have said 6 months ago that skill blossoming would have been a thing looking at this game originally? So we don't know what their direction is, but is it possible? Yeah, because most games have these things, but I don't know. We'll see. It's even if we do get it, I think it's probably going to be maybe a year out, six months to a year out would be my guess if we were to get it.
yeah, and because Japan doesn't have it yet, so but I mean, hasn't there been a couple of Malcolm quotes about Guild in Japan? Like they're just thinking about it. It's definitely on the on the back burner
It's
somewhere,
it's
right?
there. It's definitely from what he said. He's hinted at maybe not guild per se, but kind of more like you bring a buddy unit along or something to that nature, and that usually segues into guilds anyway. So I mean, we'll see what happens. I mean, I'm hopeful. I'm curious
Right.
to see what our next roadmap's going to be after this one gets finished out. I think next month is the last month for the April roadmap they gave us. It goes to the 6 month
Yes.
mark, and then we'll see. But I mean, anything's
Yeah.
possible. Again, we had armor day one in this game. Like Japan didn't
Yeah.
get armor forever, so who knows?
Yep. Yep. So speaking of which, so we're gonna have probably Summerfest. Let's assume that is the case. Very light on content from what I understand. I think it's maybe it lasts 2 weeks. I hope if it's light on content that it's only 2 weeks. I'm not, I'm you and me, I guess, and like maybe one other person are on the side of let's have more content in the game. So, and then after that is, you know, presumably close to July, which says half anniversary. So we could be looking at, and they did say the out of season, like Valentine's Day Christmas units can be coming. So we could see Seraphie, we could see um, Santa, that Zamcaster. I remember her name. Fuck, what's her name?
Ah, I don't even remember. A
We got the Santa
Catheridu
suit.
or
She's a
some
Zamcaster.
weird name.
I'm sure somebody's furiously typing it now. So, and then we'll see 6 month anniversary, which is right around the same time S Dark is coming. So, but I'm sure we're gonna have before S Dark, we're gonna have one of the DQ collaborations, right?
I think
Um,
so. I think we'll have something
DQ
coming up.
5.
Yeah,
So,
DQ5. And I mean, I'm hoping the summer festival gives us a bit more because everybody's like, well, less content. Well, less content means less engagement. Less engagement means less people. Less people means less money.
right.
And it's just kind of like that thing where I'd rather play a game where I have too much to do and I have to think about things as opposed to, well, I mean, I finished my 10 Orochis today, guys. I'll see you guys next week.
Yeah.
That's bad. That's not good.
Yeah.
You don't want that. You don't want people just coming in for an hour and, well, I'll be back next week, I guess, because I wrote Orochi off in an hour and a half, so I'm done for a week on that, but I mean,
Yeah.
if I didn't have some more books, I kind of want to, bang out just before this event ends because we do have, let's see, right now we have 17 hours left on the book event. So
Yeah.
get them done while you can. If you haven't, also make sure you do those paid banners, the good ones, the 4 unit ones that they've never done before for us. If you haven't gotten those paid ones in, it's the last chance to get them. I'd buy it. Worst case scenario, you get one of the units that you don't really want, but it's still good to have that unit because skill blossoming is coming down the road. So why not?
Right.
And
Absolutely.
it's not like you're getting a King Shi slime tongue twister, or like or a prism peacock or something. You're getting like a Slion heart or a queen slime. So
Right.
yeah, I would do it. I would do it if you haven't already.
I agree with that completely. Those are, if you're gonna spend $30 or whatever it is on any paid banner, that would be the one. So, okay, well, we're about a minute out. I do have a super hard break here, but that'll pretty much do it. We got through what, like 4 or 5 categories, more than that. What we got? We had Orochi, we had account updates, we had a little bit about Arena, we had orb worthiness, we had the account roast, we had guilds. So you could either come to this podcast for an hour, hang out with us, or you could watch a 20-minute long one subject videos from, I don't know, not to shit on other creators. They're good people. Anyway, all right. So next week we're gonna do Game Vision's roast and probably some other shit. So thank you all. Let us know if there's anything else you want to talk about in the comments. And good night.
You guys take it easy and to shit on other content creators. Yeah, you get 60 minutes more bang for your buck. 2.5 hours. You might not even end up with content related to the game. Anyway, take care, folks. See you.